Hey guys, it's John, aka that real band enthusiast and that TikTok drummer. I know I don't call myself that on YouTube. I don't know why, I just don't. Well, everybody has their ways of calling themselves on social media. But if you want to know the TikTok drummer, that's me. Yep. Well, anyways, in this video, I'm going to show you and go over on how I tune my marching bass drum. I know you see it all the time. I post it on TikTok. I just make those Fillmore 9 videos of me making cadences and making drumline covers of whatever I think of, I did one of Maria, the Spanglish radio edit. I love that song. I just really love Latin music for whatever reason. Ricky Martin is definitely one of them. I'm not a fan of his slow songs, but his upbeat songs, man, his slow tunes are kind of make me sad sometimes, and that's why I just don't listen to them. You're just thinking of sad things, I don't like sad music. I like music that you could jam to. That's my music. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about that right now. Now, let's get on to how I tune my bass drum. So, I know everybody has their way of tuning. Not saying that's a bad way or a good way. It's just your way, But on how I do it, it's similar to how everybody else does it. Like, you install the head, you finger tighten, and then you tune it until you get it up to the pitch that you want. Now, another thing that you have to understand is when you install the head and the rim, and then you start putting lugs on, tension rods, don't ever tighten them at once. Don't just put one lug on and tighten it down until it's tight. Don't ever do that while installing lugs on your bass drum, because that will take tension off your drum. It could either cause damage. You want the tension to be nice and even and equal. All right. So these are the heads I'm using. These are the original heads that came with the bass drum. I know I have a weird setup of how I muffle it. That's because one time I removed the muffling rings. I made such a bad decision there. But anyways, this is what I use to muffle, and actually it works just fine. All right, now I'm gonna start installing the drum head on both sides of the drum. Put the rim on. Well, not the rim. Wait. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna flatten this just so it works out just a little easier. I'm going to do one side first, and then we'll move on with the other. Now I got the head and the rim nice and firmly on the drum. Next thing I'm going to do is start installing the tension rods. I'm not like, if you install them, you could just insert them, just don't finger tighten them at once. What I mean at once is don't finger tighten them as soon as you install them. Just insert them, then once you got them all in, start finger tightening. So I'll be right back. All right, so now we have all the lugs inserted in each tension rod of the drum. The next step I'm gonna do is finger tighten the lugs. Now, don't use your drum key. Don't use your drum key and start tightening them all down at once. Don't do that. Finger tighten them first. Now, if the lug is not screwing in, you could use your drum key, but only screw it in until it's in there and it turns well. And then start tightening them until you can't tighten them anymore with your fingers. Or you could just use like I said, if it's not screwing in and you're using your finger, you could use your drum key so you can give it a little bit of a head start, then use your finger to tighten the rest of it down. Or you can use your drum key and just tighten it until it's in place, and then you're ready to tune. But you don't, maybe like 2 or 3 times, but like just one full turn or a quarter turn. But the best way is just finger tighten it, or use your like I said, if you can't finger tighten it, you can use your drum key until it turns, and then turn the rest of it with your finger. Okay? All right. So I'm doing the star method. Star method is the best way to do it. Like if you could do it all around, but it would be a lot harder to do. So in my way, I think the star method is the best, and a lot of people use that, and that really seems to work out very well. So I'm going to finger tighten these until they're nice and tight. Now we're using our fingers. We're not using the drum key. That will come with the next step. All right. So I'm gonna get these finger tight, and I'll come back, and then we're gonna start getting it up to pitch. All right. So now I have every lug finger tight. The next step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my drum key, and I'm gonna start cranking up the drum head. And now, when you crank up the drum head, you don't want to crank it up all the way at once. Don't ever do that. That could screw up the tension of your drum, and it could really, it's just the safest way is to start cranking it gradually, because like I said, I have everything finger tight. Now, if you press down on the head, you're going to notice wrinkles around these tension rods. That's normal. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start tightening the drum. Tightening the lugs using my drum key to get these wrinkles out. Just so the drum gets up to pitch and you're not It's just the safe way to do it. Let's just put it that. So we're going to use the star method. I'm going to do it at least a full turn. To make sure. Now, if it's really loose, I might give it just a little bit more, not too much more. And the thing with the star method is it's real easy to get lost on which lug you've already done. I just make sure I do the cross-tuning method. The star method is a good way, but I can get really distracted on what I've done. So I'm gradually tightening the lugs. I'm not tightening them completely. I'm just doing it until all the wrinkles are out from each rod. And also, the reason why you're hearing the wavy sound is because I got to get the other side too. We're just getting the first side. So now I'm pressing down the head, and so far there are no wrinkles. And once there's no wrinkles, you're going to move on, and then you're going to start tightening the other head. And screw this one in. I swore I finger tightened it, but I'm just going to make sure that, I'm not tightening it all the way. I'm just making sure that the lug is on there and it's ready to be tight. I'm not just... Alright, that'll be fine for right now. Okay. I'm going to do 2 turns because these... Like I said, you're only just gradually doing it. Like, you just want to do it at first just so you can get the wrinkles out. Then the final step is to get it up to pitch to whatever you want it. You don't have to do it my way. You can have it at low pitch, you can have it at high pitch, just whatever y'all want. But there's going to be different ways on how you're going to tighten the lugs. Now, here, I'm going to get that one just nice and firm. Get all the wrinkles out. All right, so now the drum is starting to come up to pitch. It's a little wrinkle there, so I'm gonna, okay, all right, that's it. So now it's starting to come up to pitch. It's not at pitch, it's at a very low pitch where you can't really hear. It's like maybe like a very low F. Well, yeah, because I can't really tell what note it is. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting it up to pitch. We got all the wrinkles out. Now we're gonna get it up to pitch. Now the pitch I'm gonna tune it to is a low A. Like I said, when you tune it to the pitch you want, I'm gonna tune it to a low A. Sometimes I tune it to a low B. Now if it's higher, you're gonna want to loosen it, but you don't want to loosen it all the way. You're maybe like one turn until that pitch is right. Until that's the pitch that you want it. So I'm gonna one turn on each lug for right now. So now we're starting to feel the pitch. Now it's starting to come up. We're starting to feel it. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get, well, you know, I shouldn't keep saying it, but now it's starting to come up to pitch. And now we're starting to feel it. I'm making up a whole bunch of words right now. Make sure, because you know I always get lost when I do the star method. All right. So now that's really coming up. It's coming up. Actually, if I had now, I don't run a high school drum line. I'm in a high school drum line. But if I ran a high school drum line, and we just had the regular fun style that we have in our high school band, I would tune either a 32-inch bass drum to that pitch, as long as it resonates. So far, that pitch, actually, that sounds pretty darn good. But I want it to at least a low A. That's really, I mean, if you want it right there, just leave it there. I mean, don't crank it up anymore. Or maybe just do it, but only turn it very little. But if you want that pitch, I would say just leave it. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna start getting my bass drum up to an A. All right, so I got it tuned to the pitch that I wanted. So now if I hit the drum, actually that sounds just a little bit flat. I'm gonna just do just a very little turn on each lug. I thought it was up to pitch at first, but it's a little bit flat. So I'm just gonna do not even a quarter turn, maybe half a quarter turn. If you want it to a low A, you don't want to crank it up too much. That would make it a lot higher. I mean, you could. I mean, this is, like I said, this is just how I want it. It's not like, it's not like tuning a whole entire bass section. I'll explain it after the video. All right, that sounds just a little bit better. Right there. All right. Now let's listen to it. There, that's actually just how I want it. Right. Now I'm just gonna make sure everything's tight on this side because it sounds just a little bit loose. Just gonna go around, make sure everything's tight. Now I'm doing it in a circle. I'm not doing the star method. I'm just doing it just to make sure that everything's tight. Just one, not even a whole turn. I'm just doing just one turn, just one very little turn. It's like tapping. It's just like tapping something. I'm just turning it. Not even a quarter turn. Just one very little turn. That right there. If you had headphones on, you definitely hear the pitch. That just sounds super. Yeah. So that's how I do it. Sometimes I might tune it higher if I want a higher sound, depending on which video I'm making, or if I just want it higher. But that's how I do it. If you all have your way of tuning, this is just my individual bass drum. It's not like tuning a whole bass section. Now if I did, I would either have the 32-inch either a low B, the 28-inch a low C, and the one up, which is a 24, a low, maybe a medium D, and the 22-inch a G sharp, actually a G for that one, and the 20-inch a G sharp, and the 18-inch or 16-inch, whatever's in my line, high A. I just want to make sure that sounds good, even if I did do it. But But yeah, so far everything's sounding great. If you want to add that pitch, just leave it alone. Don't do any more to it. Just leave it alone. That's how I want it. Just leave it alone and just let it. It'll be all right. All right. So that's how I tune my bass drum. There's a bunch of other ways to do it. I'm not saying do it my way. If you want to, y'all can do it. There's a bunch of other ways out there. There's a great way, but that's how I do it. And I just want to share with you all. And I hope this would be helpful to some of you guys too. All right. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out. Make sure to add me on TikTok, Instagram. I'll post it in the description. Snapchat, not Facebook. I want to keep that private. Twitter. I think that's all. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. All right, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.